Good evening, dear family. Welcome to today's Legal Love Moment. Tonight, we celebrated a Marian Day and we're still celebrating like we do on the 13th of every month. Our Lady, on the second apparition to Pierina on the 13th of July, 1947, was where Our Lady appeared to her wearing a white dress. She was adorned with three beautiful roses. One was white, and the white meant for the spirit of prayer. One red for the spirit of sacrifice, and one yellow for the spirit of penance. And I want to make sure I got that right. The white rose represented the spirit of prayer, the red one, the spirit of sacrifice, and the yellow, the spirit of penance and conversion. So Our Lady said to Pierina, I wish that the 13th of every month be celebrated as a Marian day. So that's today. And special prayers are to be said during the preceding 12 days. And this is why, starting on the first of the month, we say a prayer to Our Lady Rosa Mystica, getting ready for tonight. Um, so then, in the great saint also that we are celebrating today is a perfect example of the three meanings of these three roses, which is said prayer, sacrifice, and penance and conversion. San Maximilian Kolbe lived with three virtues of Our Lady. And, I remember when I first read about him, how when um, he was caught by the Gestapo, the Nazis, and they were interrogating him. Um, he they they took the rosary that he had around his waist, and a soldier stepped on it until they broke it. And when they put him in his cell, I think with a thread from his garment, he put it back together. That's how much prayer meant to Samson Colby. Now, Samson Colby, which his real name was Raymond, was born in Poland in 1894. As a young kid, he excelled on math and science. And his biggest dream was to become a soldier to protect and defend his beloved native land, Poland. But then, after much, I'm not going to go into the story of how when he was a little kid, 5 years old, Our Lady appeared, because I think most of us know it. But as he got older and he had discernment and he went into the seminary, he said, I am not going to become a soldier that is going to use physical weapons to, combat and, defeat evil. But I will be a soldier for the Immaculata, which was Our Lady. And I'm going to use spiritual weapons, which you know what that is: penance, prayer, and sacrifice. I will become a knight for Our Lady. Um, the militia of the Immaculata, which we are part of, MI, was formed in 1917. San Maximilian was a very intense man. He had a tremendous zeal and a lot of energy and a high level of intelligence. But I also, when I hear him talking through his writings, he sounds just like Our Lady. He was very tender for a man. He would say to his students, he would say, little children, beloved children. I so my good guess is that he had probably a direct line with Our Lady because he spoke with a sweetness and tenderness that we read from the messages of Medjugorje. Also, um, for those of you that did Father Gailey, which is the 33 days to morning consecration, which is probably all of us, you remember how he would write on the board and say, "This is the formula for saint to become a saint. The big W plus little w equals sanctity." So always, always, always do the will of God. Totally deny yourselves, and that is how the little w is our will. And that is how we become holy, 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 holy. He always, and you know what? And I have mentioned this before because it made such an impression on me when I read about it, is that he was a very sick man. He was sick with tuberculosis, and he had a constant fever. The fever never left him. So he always had headaches. And if he moved too fast, even a tiny little nothing, he would start coughing blood. So he would walk so slow so that he wouldn't move, you know, too drastic, I guess, and not start coughing blood. So all his peers would laugh at him and would put they would put nicknames on him, like Jelly Priest or whatever, because the jello goes like this, and because he would walk so slow so that he wouldn't have to cough in blood. And this is the man that put uh, um, another, brought the militia to Japan and everything with all these health issues. Well, he had the two major objectives of his work was that we should all consecrate ourselves entirely to the Immaculata, and so that we will grow in holiness every day. And you know what? After every paragraph that he wrote, he would always say, "And we must do it as soon as possible." That was his. I think if he's here listening to me, he would say, "Yeah," because that's something that stuck with me. He would always say, "Must do it as soon as possible." It reminded me how Our Lady, after the angel came and she gave her fiat. Next thing she did, literally probably the next day, was to run over to see her cousin Elizabeth. She ran in haste. She thought she's gonna need help. She's gonna need me. She's older. She needs my help. So it was always in haste. Do not wait. When you're gonna do something for the Lord, do it as soon as possible. So grace for ourselves and for others, he would say, is achieved through humble prayer, mortification, and loyalty to accomplish our ordinary duties, including the most simple. He would add, the closer the soul itself is to God, the more pleasing it is to God. The more it loves Him and is loved by Him, the more effective it is to help others to obtain the grace of God. And this is why Mother Angelica probably said that for 1 hour of work for the Lord, she needed to spend 4 hours in front of the Lord in adoration. Um, and his big frequent statement of San Marcello Colby was through the Immaculata to the heart of Jesus. And I just want to give you a few thoughts in prayer, on prayer. Our Lord taught us the Our Father, which is the simplest formula of mental and vocal prayer. Prayer always requires a movement, an elevation of the soul towards God. In order to be real prayer, we must first recollect ourselves in the presence of God, approach Him, and make contact with Him. When we approach God, let us always remember who we are talking to, God. Speak to Him with respect and be always attentive to Him. And then that was one of the roses. Then is penance. Path is a renunciation and self denial. We must carry, everybody, our apostolic labors in silence, in humility, and the daily and faithful fulfillment of our duties. And this, dear family, is tonight's legal love moment. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.